Teachers give performance tasks, but it should be accompanied with clear directions and appropriate scoring tools like rubrics. But what is a rubric? Let's find out in today's video. Rubric. A rubric is a scoring guide usually presented in graphic format, typically as a grid. It defines what is expected in a learning situation. It gives meaning to learners' level of performance on authentic assessment tasks, which includes free response questions, science and math investigations, survey and interview reports, oral or slide presentations, article reviews or reactions, journals, essays, reflections, performance tests, or skills demonstration. Rubrics are usually shared with learners to give them opportunity to discuss the criteria to be used in the said activity before they performed it. Each level of performance in a rubric has a criterion or description and allows for objective scoring of summative formative assessments. Results can be used to provide feedback to learners. Rubrics answer 3 questions. First, what do we want learners to know and be able to do? Second, how well do we want learners to know and be able to apply or use a skill in a concept? And third, how will teachers and other scorers know when a learner knows a concept and does an activity well? Advantages of using rubrics. For learners, a rubric defines the often mysterious grade at the end of a unit, project, paper, or presentation. It also gives insights and directions about what is important about an activity. For teachers, rubrics allow assessment to be more objective and consistent because the criteria are in specific terms. Rubrics clearly show learners how their work will be evaluated and what they expect from this. Rubrics also promote learners' awareness of the criteria to use in assessing their peers' performance. Rubrics also provide useful feedback regarding the effectiveness of instruction, and it provides benchmarks against which to measure and document progress. The two predominant types of rubrics are compared below: holistic and analytical. In holistic, it emphasizes the relation between parts and wholes, while in analytical, whole output broken up or separated in parts and scored accordingly. Holistic, it assesses learners' work as a whole using a criteria. It's limited to describe the whole output based on analysis of parts. In analytical, it assesses components of a finished product. Holistic does not list separate levels of performance for each criterion, while in analytical, it articulates levels of performance for each criterion. Holistic provides a single overall score but does not communicate with information about what learners are to do to improve. But in analytical, It gives diagnostic information to the teacher and formative feedback to learners. Let's have rubrics construction. Many of you already skilled in developing and using rubrics to assess and give feedback on your learning work. Check that you observe the following. First, determining learning outcomes. Are you assessing process or product? Decide on the structure of the rubric. Is it holistic or analytical? Identify levels of performance or aspects of the product that reflect the learning outcomes. And weigh the dimensions in proportion to their importance. Determine the range of points to be allocated to each level of performance. So you always need to remember that in constructing rubrics. Rubrics contain 4 essential features. First, task description or a description title of the task students are expected to produce. Next, scale or scoring that describes the level of mastery. Third, the components or the criteria students are to attend in completing the assignment or task. And last, description of the performance quality or what we call the performance descriptor of the components or dimensions of each level of mastery. Now let's look for examples. So this is an example of a holistic rubric where you can see the different components, the title, description title, scoring, and the performance descriptor. This rubric is designed to evaluate a portfolio submission based on content presentation of work and reflection. Now this time, let's have example for analytic rubric, where you can see the title, math problem solving rubric, and the description. This rubric is designed to measure the quality of a process rather than the quality of an end product. Work samples or collections of work will need to include some evidence of the individual's thinking about a problem-solving task. Examples are the reflections on the process from problem to proposed solution, steps in a problem-based learning assignment, record of think aloud protocols while solving a problem. So this is where you're going to put the description of your rubric. Now, here are the criteria, the scale and scoring, and the performance description. For the source and for other details, you can look for Classroom Assessment Resource Book. It is enclosure number 2 of the DepEd Order number 31 series of 2020. If you need a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, send me a private message to my FB page, Learn with Teacher Jhenn. Thank you.